Hi guys, welcome to JLP training. I'm going to finish off now part 2 of stress levels and how to manage them. So what you've all learnt so far is that carbohydrates and sugars, refined sugars and any type of sugar is a thing that will make you gain weight. The thing that makes you crave the sugars in the first place is your stress levels being too high. So I've told you sort of the science behind why you sort of start to crave them in the first place. Now what we're going to go on to is more about what to do about your stress levels. It's easy to say do without the carbohydrates, but when your body's craving them all day long, how do you cure that? So the reason that you're craving them all day long is because of your cortisol level, because of your stress level. So learning how to manage stress better is really, really important. So I've got some good tips here for you, and hopefully you can go away and use them, and let me know how you get on. So firstly, how to manage stress. First thing in the morning is when your stress levels will be at their highest, and that's when they should be at their highest. That's a normal reaction. It's your body waking up, it's getting ready for the day. So fight and flight response. Now a good way to know whether your stress level is going too high and staying high for too long is whether you're hungry. So whether you like to eat breakfast first thing in the morning. If you are hungry first thing in the morning, that means that your stress levels are dropping quite quickly, which is a very good thing. We need our stress levels to be dropping down quite quick. We need our body to get stressed first thing in the morning, but drop down as quickly as it can. Now, if it's not dropping down, so you're not hungry, a good way is to try and use up some of the energy that you're creating through your stress. So try doing some vigorous exercise first thing in the morning would be a really good idea. So something like a kettlebell, for example, doing a very quick kettlebell workout, just to get your heart rate right up. Maybe some star jumps, that always works to get the heart rate right up. Press ups, anything like that. And it can just be something very, very quick. It only needs to take 5 to 10 minutes just to burn up some of that energy, and then go and get showered. And it will just wake you up. And the better you can do that, the better you'll sleep at night, which is also really important to managing stress. So that's the first thing that I'd recommend, doing some vigorous exercise first thing in the morning. That will help to get your heart rate back down. Going out for a run, anything like that would also be very recommended. Only eat when you're hungry. So if you're getting up first thing in the morning and you're not hungry, eating is just telling your body to do something that it's not yet ready to do. So you're definitely going to be storing that as fat. What you don't want is the two hormones to be in conflict with each other. So you've got build-up hormones when you're eating. You've got breakdown hormones when you're stressed. Okay, don't let the two conflict. Only use one at a time. That's the best way for the body to work. So eat when you're hungry, and try and train yourself to be hungry first thing in the morning, because it's good to start off with a meal first thing in the morning. But if you're not hungry, there's a reason why you're not hungry, and it's probably because your stress levels are too high. So hopefully with the exercise, that will then make you hungry, and then you'll be eating first thing in the morning. Sleeping patterns. So sleep's really important. Make sure you're aiming for 8 hours sleep a night. 8 to 9 hours would be absolutely perfect. So that's what you're aiming for. Now the ways to get that, you need to make sure that you're switching off at night, making sure that you're calming down in the evening. So around about 8:30 to 9 o'clock, you want to set yourself little targets to do. So perhaps it would be switching the lights off, or just turning them down so it's just the side light on, or a dimmer switch. Just turning the lights down so that your body starts to learn that it's night time, and different hormones kick in when the sun starts to set. So we start to produce different sleep hormones, like melatonin. We start to produce these so that our body then knows that it's going into rest. So making sure that we're sitting in darker rooms, reading books can sometimes be quite useful. Different people react in different ways, so watching TV can sometimes be a benefit and make people tired. Other times they can get too engrossed in it. So you need to learn what sort of works for you, but certainly being less interactive at night. Switch off the laptop sort of past 8:30, I would recommend, to 9 o'clock. Switching off your phones as well. Try not to keep working. That's the real killer in this, is that we mainly do this for our work. So we mainly keep emailing, we keep texting, and that can go on till 11, 12 at night, and then you're expecting your brain to switch off in 3 minutes of going to bed after you've just been using your brain quite intensely. It's not going to happen. So trying to switch off your computers would be a very good tip. When stressed, try to make some plans for yourself. So if you're in the office or at work, whatever you do, and you're starting to get stressed, if you can't take yourself out of that situation, that is obviously going to be the best way, is to perhaps go off for a walk. But if that's not possible and you're stuck in your workplace and you're producing more and more stress, a good thing is to try and make a plan for later. So try and have something to look forward to, or even the next day, just making some plans, making something so that you take yourself away from that situation and stop letting it build bigger and bigger and bigger. The bigger it builds, the more stressed you become, the more bad foods you crave. And then even when you're just craving them, you're starting to put on weight, let alone eating them. And then if you go to eating them as well, you're going to put on more weight. So it's really, really important for you to start making plans so that it gives you some good feeling. Even though there's this bad feeling here, you've got something good that you're looking forward to. So that's another really important thing there, to make plans while stressed. If you're just at home and stress starts to kick in for whatever reason, this could be family life, whatever, try to do things like get yourself out of the situation, go off for a walk. If you've got dogs, take the dogs for a walk. That's always a natural way of calming down your stress, going out and doing something that you enjoy. Having a hot bath, putting some candles around, that sort of thing, just to chill yourself out and take yourself into a different zone where things aren't bothering you. The main thing is don't use a drug to do it. So when I say don't use a drug to do it, I'm including things like caffeine, alcohol, smoking, sugars, carbohydrates. Don't use those to control your stress levels. If you do, you'll become dependent on them and you'll just keep using it and using it and using it. And all of those things I've just named are very, very harmful. And not only will they make you gain weight, but they can make you seriously ill. Carbohydrate and sugars is probably the one where you sort of think maybe it wouldn't make me too ill. If I said something like smoking to you, it's so obvious. If I say something like alcohol to you, it's so obvious that everybody knows that. Sugars and carbs will become more and more obvious throughout the next few years. It will become on the market and everyone will know just how dangerous it is to overload on them. So be very careful of managing your stress levels through things like sugars and carbs. It's as bad as smoking, so be careful of that. Do some exercise when you're stressed. That's a great way of managing your stress levels, is going out to do vigorous or gentle. It doesn't matter, you can do either. Just doing something that you enjoy, that you get a buzz out of and a feel-good factor. We all know about endorphins that are released when we start to exercise, so it's a really good thing to get ourselves doing a little bit of exercise when we're stressed, and that will help us to control them. Also just chilling out, just chilling out as much as we can with things like when there's a bad telephone conversation or somebody cuts us off in traffic, for example. Try to understand that you don't need to be heavily stressed. You don't need to be pulling your hair out because somebody's just cut you up. It's something that you can be quite relaxed about. Driving along, somebody cuts you up. You don't know their situation. You don't know if they're in a rush because they've got to get somebody to hospital. You don't know if they've just genuinely not seen you. I'm sure we've all cut somebody up from time to time. So just taking that time just to be like, you know what, doesn't actually matter that much. They've not hit my car. What's the point in sacrificing your own health, making yourself put weight on through getting those levels of stress, and actually what they've done doesn't really matter in the whole scheme of things. So just trying to have a slightly different approach on things when normally things would really anger you and really stress you out. Just be relaxed about it and just put your feet up and go, it doesn't actually affect my day. Things like being late for work, we've all been late for work once before, and where we would get really, really stressed and build up this great big picture and then suddenly get there and realise that our boss isn't even in, or our boss is in and actually he doesn't care that much because everybody's late from time to time and it's a one-off. So I think being, just a bit more relaxed about it, and hey, if he's going to give you a hard time, what's the point in giving yourself a hard time all the way to work if he's going to give you a hard time anyway? So just being a little bit more relaxed about when situations do come up like that, to putting your hands up and saying it doesn't really matter that much. And if they're going to give me a hard time, that's absolutely fine. But I'm not going to give myself a hard time for the next 10 minutes about it. So I hope that helps about how to manage your stress levels. To manage your stress levels is to manage your sugar cravings. If you're not sugar craving, you're not going to start consuming more sugars and carbs, and therefore you're going to be much better off overall health. But really we're concentrating on weight here at the moment. and stress is one of the biggest factors of what causes us to have these bad foods in the first place. But now that we live in a place where all of these bad foods are on the market so much, that it makes it incredibly easy for us to turn to bad foods. So try and stay clear of them, but try and keep your stress levels under control and manage them a lot better. Okay, any questions, just put your messages at the bottom for me and I'll be happy to answer. Thank you.